We are in the heart of the Gulch. I'm your host, Tony Mendoza, and today I'm excited for my guest. This guest, I've been waiting to have her on the show because I'm pretty sure she could lead me to some water. We got one and only Ashley Ann in the building.
What a joke. I've never heard that one before.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Man, I am excited to see you. First of all, you're more gorgeous in person than in the photos. Not saying that you don't take amazing photos.
I am pretty lax about my photos, I will say. Try not to care too much, but...
Well, you know, first off, talk to me about just your 2024 going into 2025. A lot of changes.
Yeah.
But more importantly, a lot of music.
Yeah. I feel like no matter what, obviously us musicians, I feel like we get here and we're like, music is everything, full force music. And you forget that like life can get in the way sometimes too. So I feel like just with all the change, I've always like made it, my mission to just keep pushing music, even when things aren't necessarily going your way in your personal life or even in your career in the business side of things. Like, I feel like I've just always made it my goal is like just keep giving music because the fans don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They just want music.
And they shouldn't, in my mind, right?
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the nitty gritty of business and music business, even Taylor Swift or you name the person, they don't say what's really going on behind the scenes. They just see you putting out good music. And last year, oh boy, you had a lot of EPs drop, dude.
Yeah, a lot of music came out last year. Had a lot to say. Had a lot to get off my chest, I guess.
And, we got to talk about the first EP that released, which was Dear Dolly.
Yes.
So talk to me about that EP.
Feels like so long ago, like thinking back. But, I mean,
it was.
That was my first project we ever did. And I don't know, everything just like felt cohesive at that point. A few of the songs had already been out. We thought it was time for a project. Just the traction we were getting. And I think the few songs that we threw on there, it was American Dream and Mary Jane's Been Talking were like the ones that came out when the EP did. But all those songs on there, I felt like they had come out in the fall, and Dear Dolly was my first single. So I think it made a lot of sense to take the first single that I had ever released. It was a song I wrote when I was 17, so it's a very old song in my brain. Like, wow. Yeah, definitely tired of singing it. But that song, it just made sense, like, for that to be the title track, and it also just made sense for that to be, like, the songs that we were packaging onto the EP had all come out way later than Dear Dolly. So you were kind of pulling from, like, the first song that I ever released, and then, here's, a few songs later, this is what I'm doing, but it's still cohesive with the first song I ever released. I think there's something to be said about that because I think a lot of artists, like even I have kind of gone through, you release different types of songs and you try new things until you figure out kind of what your brand is and like where your angle is and how you're different from everybody else. I think there's something to kind of be said about how Dear Dolly is cohesive to even the stuff I'm doing today. I've always been that, like at my core, that sound, whatever you want to call it, that song as a whole, I feel like is still really adjacent to everything that I'm doing now and to everything that came out later that year. So to put that all in a project definitely made a lot of sense in my head because I think it was like a hello world, here's Ashley kind of thing. And Dear Dolly was what, made the career, what started the career. So I think it all just kind of worked cohesively. I always tell people, when I get into writers' rooms and people are like, so are you writing towards a project? Or what are you writing towards? Do you need up-tempo? Do you need a ballad? And I'm like, I don't need anything. I don't plan that out. I really don't. Like, I am not the girl who's like planning out what the next project is and writing towards it. I write what I feel. I write what I want to write that day. And then if it all works on a project, great. And that's definitely how Call Me When You Land was. It just like all just happened to work. When you're writing your truth, it's all cohesive because it's your life, it all makes sense together because it's true and it's you. And so I just think Dear Dolly was a great kind of kickoff to, introducing me to the industry in a formal way through a project and introducing me to the world too. I think a lot of people, having that first project come out, I think people saw like, okay, this is what she's about. This is the sound. This is the brand. And, we've stuck to it. So pretty cool.
I love it. Well, you talk about Dolly, and Dolly is one of the most iconic figures in country music, but not only country music, in pop culture history.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to know, what's your favorite thing about Dolly Parton?
So I always say this because I think this is interesting. I think there's a lot of girls that would sit in this chair that are in country music that would say Dolly's my icon or Dolly's my idol or Dolly's who I look up to.
That or Shania.
And I definitely think that, you know, the music and who she is, like the idol that we have in our heads, like who is Dolly, that is an amazing thing. She's an amazing brand and everything. But what I've always like stuck with so much and why I've appreciated her so much my whole life is the character. It's like, it's the person behind everything. It's like the music's great. Don't get me wrong. Like I love a Dolly song and she's an amazing songwriter. But I think that the character, the human, the way that she has used music as an outlet and as a platform, and she's done good with that platform. It's not just like, I'm here to be famous. It's, oh, I'm going to make a change here and I'm going to, you know, she started nonprofit organizations, written books. Like she's so involved with children. And I just think that everything she's done is like, that's the goal. That's the dream. It's not necessarily to be the next big thing in country music. It's to have a platform where I can help other people. And I think music is my gateway into that. But I definitely think that that's why I love Dolly so much. It's why I have my whole life. It's like, I always had 100 interests. Wow. I was always the kid who just wanted to excel at everything she did. And, you know, I'm still that way. I have so many interests even outside of music and outside of songwriting that like I want to touch into once I have that platform. So it's just about like building that and building trust with an audience, building trust with the fans, so that they want to hear what I have to say.
That's absolutely incredible because you know what? That's a refreshing take on why someone would love Dolly Parton. Yeah. But, you know, going back to that EP, right, Dear Dolly, my favorite song, and it's probably because I'm from Texas, is She Ain't Texas. Now, it's ironic, though, because you're originally from Virginia Beach area. Yeah. So what the heck are you talking about She Ain't Texas?
Okay, so I have always said, and I will stand by this even now, I've always said, like, I will not release a song or put it out into the world unless it is utterly my story. And my second semester at Belmont was when I really dove into music. I had my first co-write ever in like May of 2024. Okay. So just like introduction to the music industry, whatnot, you know, things were getting kind of real, whatever. But I literally was sitting on the kitchen counter and I was like, okay, everybody's telling me, you know, you have to write like for other people sometimes. Like if you're a songwriter, and I've always wanted to be taken seriously as a songwriter just as equally as I am taken seriously as an artist. Like that's super important to me. Another thing that I love about Dolly. Because I want to write songs for other people. I love writing songs for other people. I love writing other people's stories. I think I'm very good at kind of being the therapist in the room and allowing people to open up and talk about things they don't maybe want to talk about. I've found is a strength of mine in a writer's room. But I was sitting there and I was like, I've never written a song for someone else. And I was like, okay, like, let's think of like a Texas country artist, a girl. I was like, I'm just going to write a song for her. Like, let's just give it a shot. So I literally prop my phone up because this is like what I still sometimes do this when I'm writing alone. I like to film myself writing because if I like say something out loud or I miss it, I don't know, like voice memos versus like a literal film, I can see kind of the way my brain's working, like, and I'm speaking it out loud. So this was like normal for me. I propped up my phone. I started filming this whole process. And I'm sitting on the kitchen counter and I'm like strumming along. And I'm just like, she ain't Texas. She ain't booze. She ain't all these things. Like, I just thought She Ain't Texas was such a cool, literally just started like spitting it out. Like, I don't even think it was, I'm pretty sure I hadn't even finished the chorus until like a month or two later, and I had to finish the rest of the song once I got back to Nashville because I posted that video, just like clip hits of it. I had kind of just cut it all up and put it into a little video of me writing on my kitchen counter, whatever, and it went viral. And I was like, I was like, oh crap. Like, I mean, like you pray for it, and sometimes it comes when you maybe don't want it to come. But it went viral. I felt like I had to release it. Just so many people wanting it. And I had a fun time writing it. So it's not my story. It's really not.
I would think a song like that went viral would make everyone think that you're from Texas if they didn't do their research on
Yeah.
you. Because for the first time someone hearing your song and it says she ain't Texas, I'm assuming on the back of my mind that like
For
the first
sure.
time I heard it was like, oh, she's from Texas. Where?
Sure.
But there's nothing wrong with Virginia Beach. Talk to me about Virginia.
Virginia is the state of all states, I feel. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, now that's a confusing state because you've got like beach, mountains, city, farm, all in one state. And then it's like totally split in half, like politically, which we won't get into. But it's like so many different things in one state. And I love it. Like, I love it more than anything. I've been missing home a lot lately. But I'm going home May 30th to do a show with Josh Turner. So I'm so excited to go home.
Look at you just teeing everything up, man. You're a pro at this. Well, so yeah, Josh Turner. My gosh. I mean, that is... Those, first of all, what do you think of Josh? Have you toured with him? Have you played shows with Josh?
Yeah, we did a few runs. Was it last fall? There was even a few this year.
What's their fan base like? What's the Josh Turner fan base like?
It's a little bit of an older crowd.
Yeah, I would assume.
Which has definitely exercised a muscle that I have to have because as an artist who's the opener a lot of times right now in this season, like you're having to kind of
Gauge.
You know, you're kind of having to fit whatever the audience wants to hear. Like, you want to make them a fan of you, and you want to be authentically yourself. You want to sing your own songs, obviously, but you also don't want to bore them. So, like, opening for Josh Turner, I'm trying to throw in some Loretta Lynn covers, keep them on their feet, you know, and do some of the She Ain't Texas and the Dear Dollies of the world and those kinds of stuff in my catalog. And then when you're opening for, you know, Maddox Batson and their literal 6-year-old girls in the audience, like it looks a lot different than that, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's been very interesting. It's definitely helped me grow a lot as an artist because I'm having to kind of, like what you said, gauge different audiences and kind of see, you know, what they want to hear, but also here's me, you know, not.
What's your perfect audience? So if you were to go on tour with anyone out in country music, outside country music, what is a fan base that you know that your songs would resonate the most with and would be just a blast to, you know, possibly have that interaction with them off stage?
Like what artists?
Yeah, what artists?
I always say Taylor Swift. Because, and I'm not like, I love Taylor Swift. I respect the crap out of her genuinely. Like, I respect her so much and what she's done, but I'm not a Swiftie. I don't listen to her really at all. Like, I've listened to a few songs off the Folklore album and like her old country stuff that she did when she first moved here. Like, love that. But
We're so aligned right now.
I'm not a Swiftie. I just like, I know her audience would be an absolute perfect fit because it's very similar things. There's the wisdom behind it. So you have the older girls in the audience and the older dudes in the audience too. There's some wisdom and there's some wittiness and some cleverness behind the lyrics. And there's hard topics talked about, but there's also just fun, lively songs that are just pick your friend off the ground kind of songs. And I feel like that's where we're aligned.
Has anyone ever said that you resemble her?
Literally, like, I don't take this as I don't take it as an offense. I take it as a compliment, but that is by far all these shows that I've done, meet and greets, literally, it's the only person that anyone would ever tell me that I looked like is like young Taylor Swift. It's all I get. Like, I literally can't think of a time that somebody said something different. It's always been that.
And how do you take it? I mean, because first of all, a young Taylor Swift is such a compliment.
Yeah.
Because you think about the body of work, and we're going to get down to, you know, your newer EP and your newest songs too. But, you know, the body of work of the original Taylor Swift, the first album, I cannot tell you the album to save my life because I didn't grow up on it. But the thing is, though, everyone judges Taylor from that album.
Yeah.
Because she's gone through different eras of herself. Even the term era became a thing because of her. But the thing is, though, that first album speaks to so many people.
Yeah.
And speaking of your first EP, which is Dear Dolly, are you okay with that being your foundation where wherever you go, whether it's an album or your latest EP, Call Me When You Land, are you okay with your fans going back to Dear Dolly and be like, this is where she started from?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've always been very particular about what I've put out into the world, whether it's literally videos, content, photos, what I'm wearing, like as just an influence. And I think about young girls the most because I have a little sister. She's 16 and she's like, I feel like I raised her. I feel like she's my kid. So when I look at her, and lately she's been like, you know, trying to kind of dress like how I dress. And I'm like, and she likes what I wear and she wants all the hand-me-downs and stuff like that. I even advice that I'm giving her, I mean, I take all of that and I put it in my career too. It's like, I will never write like an absolute screw you song. I'm not here to like talk crap about people. I'm not here to like put anybody down. I know that's like a huge thing in female country right now, but it's just not my vibe. Excuse me. It never has been, not as a person, not as an artist. So I feel like when I think about the young girls, I'm like, what do I want to be feeding them? Like, we are so much of what we absorb and we don't even realize it. And I'm such a firm believer in that. Like even what we watch on TV, what we spend time scrolling through TikTok videos that we decide to entertain, like we are so what we absorb. Books we're reading, everything that we see and take in, it's who we are and it's becoming who we are, and it influences us to points where I don't even think people realize much. So I'm thinking about, if I selfishly want to do music and have a platform and be an artist and have fans, and I selfishly want to be famous, then what good am I doing? You know, because if there's not an influence that is beneficial to anyone, especially young little girls, then I shouldn't be doing this.
You're just waiting for the audience to kind of be attracted, which you already have a great audience. Have you had people recognize you yet?
I do have a great audience. Yeah, especially even working at Rustler, I would have some people come in and like ask for pictures. I'm like, okay, I'm at work. But like, I mean, that's definitely, it's the meet and greets at the shows and stuff where you're like obviously face to face with fans. I do have a great audience and I'm very thankful. But how do I word this? Like the material that I'm wanting to do as a debut album is a deep, dark story about my childhood and how I grew up, and that's one story that I can tell, you know, and I've written plenty of songs about the same story, different people, different, you know, instances, whatever, but I definitely think that is a whole story, and it's why I'm the way I am. It's completely what's made me who I am. It's literally to thank for everything is my childhood story, and I can only tell it once. So I guess in my head, I'm just like waiting for the right time, pushing singles until one single or two singles or three catches enough attention to be like, okay, now we're going to throw this out there. Here's this. Because I think that everything has been intentional up until this point, starting from Dear Dolly. I know a lot of people just think it's a little ode to Dolly, like, and it definitely is. But I wrote it when I was 17 in a time where like I literally didn't believe in God anymore, because I was like, I've literally spent 17 years of my life going through all this, and I'm like, how is there a higher power if I'm just like literally being hit bus after bus? But then I moved here and things, you know, cleared up so much. Skies cleared. I just felt like I was finally safe and I was finally in control of my own life, and that changed everything.
Kind of like You Can Land. Right. So talk to me about the single Call Me When You Land.
Call Me When You Land. I love that song. That was a song we wrote sometime last fall, summer. We put it out very fast, like right after I had written it, just because everybody loved it so much. But I kind of wrote that about, I mean, literally it was all just so truthful and cohesive to my life at the time, because that whole entire EP, Call Me When You Land, was written within the same few months of a literal situationship that is now my boyfriend. And it all makes complete sense together because I wrote it in the exact timeline that every emotion was coming at me. And that one, the single Call Me When You Land, was definitely that middle piece where it's like, and it sits in the middle of the EP for a reason. It's literally all in order of like when those emotions came, if you've ever like really thought about it. But Call Me When You Land is like the third or fourth track on the EP, and it's just about, okay, things are going great. Like we're past the beginning stages, makeup off, left my t-shirt. We're past the beginning stages of like the uncertainty and like the, do you really like me? How much do you like me? Now I'm at a point where like things are going so great and I'm scared they're gonna crash and burn. Cause like, I'm bound to get my heart broken. I'm 21 years old and I've never had my heart broken by a man. Like, I literally have never been in a relationship and had my heart broken.
I mean, granted, we hope that never happens.
We do. We pray that never happens. But I always say I had enough heartbreak as a kid. I don't need any more. So.
Well, you think about calling someone when you land. I want you to give me the top 3 people that you would call the moment you get off a scary flight. Because we've all had scary flights. I hate turbulence.
Yeah, I hate flying. I hate flying.
Me too. If I could drive anywhere, like I think Steve Madden, the guy who was a coach and had a game called Madden, he actually went through one scary flight and he rode a bus for the rest of his life. So they never flew him out anywhere. But who would you call if you had a scary flight in the air? The 3 people that you would call when you land.
Every flight for me is scary, and so I always am texting. It's my 2 sisters and my boyfriend. Like, there's not one scary flight. It's like, no, every flight is scary because I hate flying.
What's the scariest part for you when you get on the plane?
It's the turbulence. It's like, oh my gosh, how is this plane not gonna literally fall out of the sky?
So going up doesn't bother you, going down doesn't bother you?
I mean, it all bothers me. Like, the second I'm off ground, I'm like, this makes actually no sense in my brain. And if I can't wrap my head around something like that, I'm not in control. And if I'm not in control, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, how much of a control freak are you?
It's pretty bad, honestly. I mean, we were talking about, what were we talking about? Something earlier where I was like, if I can't control it, I'm freaking out. So I've tried to get a lot better about it, but I was diagnosed with OCD when I was in 7th grade, and I've always been the kid where it's intrusive thoughts. It's like, if I don't have my hands on it, how could I trust somebody else to get the job done as well as I could get it done?
The bigger you get, though, the more you're going to have to rely on your team.
Oh, for sure.
And
the
thing is, and I'm sure you're already noticing that. You're definitely already noticing how challenging it is when there's people that were there with you.
Yeah.
But, the funny thing is, bringing it back to the fans out here that are watching this right now, if you're watching this 20-something minutes in, shout out to y'all, that... when things are not going your way and you're trying to find the water, right, to go drink at and just go do things, what are some things that you could tell the person that's watching this right now that's having a turbulent situation, whether it's a situationship or their job is going extremely bad? I mean, what's keeping you on that straight and narrow to get yourself out of the weeds? What pieces of advice can you give them?
It's literally Jesus. I mean, I can't say like I feel like there have been so many times in my life where, like, especially as a kid, where it was just like there was nothing left. Like, there was no point anymore. There was like literally the darkest, worst times of my life, and that was all I had was Jesus. It was conversation. It was prayer. I always say it took a village. Like, I think that having friends and having people around you that love you, and that you love, I mean, I always say it takes 2 to tango. Like, every relationship ever, whether it's a love interest, a best friend, a neighbor, or with me, like my team members, because we were kind of talking about that too. It's like, I'm very intentional with my relationships. It's not just business for me. Like, with my team, it's a little odd how close we all are. Like my lawyers at my birthday brunch, like, that's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Lawyers at the birthday brunch?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. If you know Rachel Gutman, like, she's literally incredible. But that's how I work. Is my team they're my best friends before anything else.
Well, they have to be, because you think about it. You just think about anything. Maybe you're into sports, right? The sports player that you see play on every Saturday or Sunday, they have a team around them that are championing them, but they're also the first person to be there on the birthday party. Because the more you're around your team, that team, whether it's music business or your team members at work, they're going to be the ones to help you get through the weeds. But not only get through the weeds, you can go to them if you have questions.
For sure.
So when you're transitioning teams, it makes it challenging. But you brought up God, right? And one of my favorite stories about God is when he was able to give plenty of fish out to the people and feed them. So
how do you come up with this?
So talk to me about...
Gosh, that's good.
So talk to me about your new single that's going to be coming out some point, Plenty of Fish.
Okay, yeah, so Plenty of Fish, this kind of, dives into like this season and this new era that I'm kind of entering with music. It's like, I went so long. I mean, I say so long, but I've been releasing music for 2 years. 2 years now.
That's a long time.
Yeah, so all of that, those 2 years worth of music have been I've been notorious for doing a lot of mid-tempos and slow ballads and whatnot. I'm not much of an up-tempo girly. There was always a mental blockage in my brain where I was like, if it's up-tempo, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's like, I need it to be kind of slow to really absorb everything I'm saying.
Maybe that's why you don't get into Taylor Swift that much. Everything that she does is very
possible. I'm definitely a fan of like the Lauren Watkins, the Carter Faith vibes, Lacey K. Booth, love her. Like I love all those girls. But definitely that Plenty of Fish is very much an entryway into the up-tempo world of Ashley, and because we have so many songs in the vault right now that are just fun, up-tempo, outgoing, lively songs that people have been loving on socials and just like my friends and stuff. So I'm really excited about all those. And Plenty of Fish is like the first one that I wrote that I was like, this is my lane with up-tempo, because people tell you all the time you need more up-tempo, especially in your live set is when you see it the most. It's like you need more up-tempo. So I feel like for the last 6 months, I've really prioritized in the writers' rooms. When we're writing for me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to aim for something up-tempo. I've tried the Americana up-tempo. I mean, I opened for Charles Wesley Godwin last year, and seeing his up-tempo stuff live, I'm just like, holy crap, that's amazing. I want to do that. So I've tried that, hated the way I sounded on it. I've tried pop stuff and I just wasn't me. So I've finally found this like center lane with up tempo, and it's very groovy and it's very different. I don't know if there's much that I can like relate it to. But I think it's a mix of a lot of things. And I just think that that's kind of going to be my entryway into releasing a lot more of those songs, because I think there's something to be said about a lot of, in the past, we've seen a lot of female artists. They've kind of started off with the more commercial route. And then once they've got their feet on the ground, okay, here's the other things I have to say. Here's the deeper things I have to say that aren't necessarily catching your attention in 2 seconds, but I already have your attention. And I think that's a hard pill to swallow, because I think I moved here and was like, I'm going to go the more difficult route and sing things that aren't necessarily like TikTok friendly. Like, I want to say things that are important. I want messages. But it's hard because when you don't know what a song means until the end of the chorus, it's very hard to tease on TikTok because people want the first line or the first word.
Well, that all comes down to audience, right? And your audience. And obviously, like, your generation is definitely on TikTok. I'm kind of an old guy doing a YouTube show. What is your favorite type of crowd to play in? Do you like the songwriters rounds where everyone's quiet and looking at you? Do you like the honky-tonk bars where people are all walking around, not really paying attention? You're playing, but they're not really paying attention? Or do you like the kind of like stadium shows where there are people that are going to festivals and they're there, the Josh Turner concerts, where they're there to see live country music and they're a little bit rowdy? All three different types of audiences.
I love, like, especially with the Josh Turner shows, I kind of got to experience like a lot of theaters.
Ooh.
I know we did a one with Charles too. It was in Tucson, Arizona, but like those big theaters where the acoustics are amazing and everybody's quiet, like, but everybody's having a good time, because it's not like a honky-tonk bar where everybody's like talking and drinking and whatnot, but it's like everybody's still intentional with their ears. That's my favorite, I think.
Now, I want you to go back to those honky-tonk days when you were playing to crowds that weren't listening to you.
Yeah.
Today, with your discography that you have released today, what song from your original music are you going to play to make everyone shut up and listen to you?
That's like released?
That's released.
To make them, I mean, She Ain't Texas, a lot of people get quiet with that one. I think just because of like the vocal runs and the high notes. American Dream, kind of same way. But I mean, like, as far as live shows go in the last year, the song that shuts everybody up is an unreleased song that I wrote. It's called Why God, Why Me? And that is what gets everybody quiet, just because it's so, I mean, it's my story as a kid, and it's a prayer I prayed my whole life, and just the turnaround. It's like the silver lining kind of song where it's like, okay, but I'm this much better because of all of it. And now I know, why God, why me? Like now I know exactly why. So
is that an album cut possibly?
We're actually thinking of passing it around to other people. Not much I can talk on yet,
yeah,
but
well, that's still pretty awesome that you have a song that will resonate with a wide audience.
For sure.
That's your story. I always think that's weird with musicians. When a song means so much to you and you give it to another artist, it may not be this. It may not hit them the same.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, it's a good song. Like, I guess what I've heard all season long, if it's the best song wins. Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard all season long.
Yeah.
But speaking of all season long, I did incorporate a spin the wheel game in this show where there's going to be some random questions, and I want to see if you want to play with me.
Okay.
Play that game after we come back from the break. You ready?
Okay. I'm always down to play a little spin the wheel game.
All right, let's do it. Oh, I didn't see you guys there. Hey, if you're enjoying the content that we provide, please consider subscribing to our Heart of the Gulch YouTube show. Hit the subscribe button that's right in front of you, or hit the Heart of the Gulch logo over here in the corner. And of course, like magic, hit the recommended subscribe button that's over here in the banner. We would love to have you guys here at the Heart of the Gulch YouTube channel. And let's get you back onto that interview right now.
This isn't like bought off a...
Okay, what does that one say?
Most embarrassing moment on stage. I'm not embarrassed easily, honestly. Like, unfortunately, there was a time where like I was wearing there was this one show, and I think like the whole thing was just awful, but no hate to Mark Chestnut, but I was opening for Mark Chestnut because it was kind of just like on the way in between these shows that I was doing. It made sense. It was a great time, I guess, but the crowd wasn't really loving what was going on just because they want Mark Chestnut out there. They want to have a honky tonk fun time, and I'm over here like talking about my feelings and stuff. They don't want to hear that. So there was a time where it was like somebody yelled out like, "Where's Mark Chestnut?" Mm-hmm. And like that was embarrassing. I know that's not even that bad, but like, I mean, I've had like my top be unbuttoned on stage before, and I'll be like, why did no one tell me that my top was unbuttoned? That's not embarrassing to me. I'm just like, why didn't y'all tell me? Like, what's embarrassing is when like people actually aren't enjoying the show, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go now. You know,
there's been so many answers to that question. Everything from sticky boobs falling.
That's the worst.
To pants ripping.
Oh gosh.
To you name it, like in ears and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
so
I don't get embarrassed very easily.
Well, that's a good thing though, because like obviously if you can run with the punches, you can run with the punches.
Yeah, I mean we're all human. Like it happens to everybody. We're just on stage, so everybody's gonna see it happen.
When do you get the most nervous? Do you get the most nervous? So I've had answers to that question. When they get nervous is like after the third song in the set, because after that they don't know where to take it, or that's where they see the crowd change. Or I've had people say when they're nervous, before they walk on stage and they get the butterflies then. Or people even said they get most nervous when they go to the studio because they're around such great studio musicians. So Ashley, when do you get the most nervous being a musician?
Honestly, the fact that you said the studio thing like made me think like, oh, it doesn't have to be on stage because I don't have stage fright at all. I grew up on stage. I grew up doing a lot of musical theater, a lot of just singing opportunities, gigs around town. So I don't have stage fright, but the most that I am nervous is honestly like those like influencer events or like any of those like events where there's a lot of artists or influencers. Like I am not very good at the whole like, hey girl, like, oh my gosh, I love your dress. Like, I'm just so real. I'm just like, hey, like, oh, you're sitting in the corner. Like, you look cool. Like, Erin Kirby, I love her. She's got an amazing voice. And I always tell the story because we were at this influencer event and like, I didn't know a lot of the girls. A lot of them were influencers, not artists. So I didn't recognize a lot of people. But Erin Kirby was sitting there in the corner and I was just like, she looks cool. So I went up to her and we made great friends, and just like our vibes were very similar. We got along great. I think it's hard for me to be like, I'm not I don't want to say fake, but like it's hard for me to put on any sort of facade. It is what it is. You get what you get. This is who I am to my best friends. This is who I am to my boyfriend. This is who I am to you. Like I literally am the same in every room that I walk into. But with those instances, I think people expect you to be so bam in your face. And I'm like, I'm not always like that. I can't turn it on really. So those definitely make me the most nervous.
What is the most cringiest thing at an influencer event?
This is so mean. Oh my gosh. But it's just like,
I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything.
For me, it's like watching a girl go up to a girl and be like, hey, oh my gosh, like let's take a picture. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's different. Like you have to like see it. Like how I interact is just like, I'm still like having a time. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, I love to party. I love to dance. I love to have fun. I love meeting people. Gosh, I love people. But when it comes to the whole like, doing the content videos together where it feels so unnatural and I'm like not my
you
vibe.
know what comes unnatural too is being on the road. Being on the road is very unnatural to have to drive to place, but one of my favorite questions I love asking people is what is their favorite not healthy option to eat on the road?
So interesting enough, I'm very odd. I'm pescatarian and I'm dairy free.
Wow.
So that keeps me from a lot of fast food. So like I've had to kind of master as I've been on the road, like how to eat on the road. But I think it's helped me a lot because it's kept me from eating crap. So like I'm having to eat healthy options because I literally can't have a cheeseburger from McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So like honestly, like unhealthy thing, like I always put this on my rider, and we had a show with Maddox, and I'm really close with his bass player because he plays with me too. And he was like, I'm going to 7-Eleven, do you want anything? And I was like, Chex Mix, please. Like I love the original Chex Mix. Like I don't know what it is. It just like grounds me in a way.
Okay, wait, we're diving deeper into the gas station talk. Now, what would be, if you're talking to somebody, what would be the 7-Eleven red flag item? If they buy this item, it is a total red flag.
Oh gosh, that's hard. I've never thought about that.
That just doesn't make it for you. If you see this person walking out of a 7-Eleven eating this item or drinking this item, you're like, ooh, there's something off.
Oh my gosh, wait, that's so hard. Like, because I'm so not judgmental and I will eat anything. Like, even though I have my dietary restrictions, especially as a kid, like, I ate anything and everything. I'm really not judgmental when it comes to food, like, at all. I'm trying to think. Like, maybe, like, what are those, like, weird, like, the things they have on, like, the hot
dogs?
What is that?
The chili dogs from a 7-Eleven?
That would kind of gross me out. A little.
You know, that would definitely be a red flag. Okay, well, yeah. Let's spin the wheel another time. Let's see what kind of random question we get.
Your most memorable hate comment on social media. I am so fortunate to the point where I have really not had a lot of hate comments, and it's probably just because I haven't like reached a side of social media, I guess, of people who just want to write hate comments. But the one instance where I did get comments that were, you know, obviously not nice, there was one time that I can remember, and it was when I was teasing Two Truths and a Lie. We had done a content shoot with Gabe, the guy who does my videos, and I mean, every time I do a content shoot, I'm singing, even though like the song's playing on a speaker and the camera's in front of me, like I'm singing it out loud so that the facial expressions and everything that's going on with my body is natural as if I were singing it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's getting across, even though I'm technically lip syncing, but I'm not. So you put the audio over the video. I had so many comments on the Two Truths and a Lie content. Like, what are you doing with your face? And it's funny because when I was in like 5th grade chorus class, the boys in my class would make fun of me because I don't even like, I guess you'd have to see like a live performance or look back at some videos, but I do like, I'm not straight faced when I'm singing. Like, I don't know how to describe it really, but I do make some faces. A lot of people kind of would be like, it's like Tyler Childers, like you're fine, like do your thing, you sound great. Like some of those comments who would like hit back at the hate comments.
Well, I did see you bring your guitar in here, so I don't know if we happen to see it, but before we kind of lean to your performance, I'm going to ask you my last 2 questions on the show. And these guys know I ask it. It's a question that is known for everyone that's been to my show. And that is imposter syndrome. We all have that little voice in the back of your head that tells you can't do something or you shouldn't be doing something. Maybe maybe that little voice in the back of your head saying you're not ready for this stage or this opportunity. But then also there's someone that's watching this right now that's going through that exact same process in their life. Maybe they didn't get a job that they wanted, or maybe they didn't get a internship that they wanted out of college. And the little voice in the back of their head saying they can't do it. So what piece of advice can you give to the people that have imposter syndrome right now? And also, what tips and tricks have you done to not let imposter syndrome get to you?
I feel like I don't really have imposter syndrome. Like, I'm very confident in my abilities, and what I do. I think it helps to have affirmation from friends and people around you. But I think the biggest thing is, like, you're a child of God, and like in God's eyes, you are perfect and perfectly made, and being so secure in that, I think you just know, like, I've never thought to myself, I could not play that stage right now, or like, I don't deserve to be this, or I don't deserve to have this, or I could never do this. Like, I've never thought that way in my life. I've always been like, I'm going to try my best to do it. And if I fall short at all, like, then I get like embarrassed. But I'm like, just because I'm kind of a perfectionist. But I feel like just remembering that, like, you're right where you're supposed to be. Like, I feel like that has been such a testament to my life, is like feeling like you're in such the wrong spot and nothing's going your way, and then looking back a few years later and being like, that was totally supposed to happen. I was in just the right spot. Everything has led up to this moment or this moment or this. That's how life is. It's like, you don't know the reason why until maybe 2 weeks later, until maybe years later. It's like it always, there is a literal reason for all pain and suffering. Like, God has a way of working with every single struggle that anyone has ever endured. So there's a reason for all of it. And I feel like just firmly believing that, even if you're not religious, like firmly believing that there is a reason for literally, I have a tattoo to my arm, everything happens for a reason. If you just firmly believe that, like, and trust in that plan, that like everything unravels, and I would not be half the person I am without all the pain and suffering I've been through. So I feel like if you ever feel like you can't do something or you're not deserving of something, it's just like having the confidence and security in the fact that you're right where you're supposed to be, and everything that comes to you for a reason, and everything that's not coming to you right now is not coming to you for a reason.
I love that. That was such a beautiful, well said statement. Now, my last question in the show. What are you looking forward to the rest of 2025 and the top of 2026?
The rest of 2025, I'm definitely looking to more shows, being on the road and exploring, experiencing crowds when I'm doing those like up-tempo songs that we've been writing a lot, and just kind of showcasing that new side. And then, I mean, CMA Fest, I'm so freaking excited for, and just summertime in general. But I think I'm definitely just excited for new music. I'm excited. I know, like, technically things haven't been, released long times ago, but it feels like it in my brain, and my heart's in a different place. So I'm just excited to get new music out and meet fans face to face, because that's my favorite part about this whole thing.
Well, I love that. Because what's the nicest thing a fan's ever given you, though?
Nicest thing, or like most memorable?
Most memorable thing a fan's ever given you.
I have a napkin that this older lady gave to me at one of the Charles Wesley Godwin shows, and I still have it. And it says, she said nothing to me. She just handed it to me. And I was like walking from the stage to the meet and greet booth. So I walked like kind of through part of the audience. She was sitting side, and she totally just hands it to me, doesn't say anything. And I like put it in my pocket, didn't get around to it till way later when I was like going to sleep. And I opened it, it says, "Stay sweet and innocent." And I was just like, that I think is such an important thing to remember. Like, with me and being in this town and being 21 now, I mean, there's such an importance in my heart and like who I want to be portrayed as, and how I want to be respected. And that is just like, it's not necessarily staying innocent as in like not weathered and not worn, but staying innocent as in having fresh perspective and having kind heart and having all these things that make a woman look at you and say, please stay that way. Like stay sweet. Because I think on stage, my live show, I'm very conversational and I like to talk to people. And I think that's just like something I never want to let go of. No, this industry can make somebody egotistical, and I just never want to be that way. So that means a lot to me, that napkin.
Well, I love that. Now, speaking of being sweet, it's going to be pretty sweet to see you perform here in the studio. But the way we're going to tee it off is you're going to look straight into that camera right there. You're going to say your name.
Okay.
And you're going to say, this is how I walk the line. Like the Johnny Cash song, Walk the Line. Okay. You're going to introduce yourself and say, this is how I walk the line. And we'll transition this interview into the performance you're going to do here.
Okay.
All right.
So I say, I'm Ashley, and this is how
I walk the line. You got it.
I'm Ashley.
Wait, you have to do applause.
Okay, you have to do the applause.
In 3, 2.
I'm Ashley Ann, and this is how I walk the line.
He broke your heart. Looks like he broke your heart. You're in the hardest part. Feels like you're drowning in an ocean of tears. But here's the thing, goodbye's supposed to sting. It'll be gone in a blink. Tough to see the light at the end of the pier. Baby, aren't you tired of crying off makeup? Nobody died. It's just a break. Call up your friends, get to a bar. You never know what you get fishing in the dark. Cast another line, see if you catch what might be forever. On to the next one is what it is. Heartbreak's a bitch, ain't serious. Cause there's plenty of fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish. Fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish. A year from now, you'll look back wondering how you cared so much about losing a boy you thought you'd never lose. But there's someone else out there for you. Cause baby, aren't you tired of crying off make? Nobody died, it's just a break. Call up your friends, get to a bar. You never know what you get fishing in the dark. Cast another line, see if you catch what might be forever. On to the next one is what it is. Heartbreak's a bitch, ain't serious. Cause there's plenty of fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish. Fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish. Plenty of fun to be had, plenty of mistakes to laugh at. So maybe it ain't so bad, so bad. Cause baby, aren't you tired of crying off makeup? Nobody died, it's just a break. Call up your friend, get to a bar. You never know what you get fishing in the dark. Cast another line, see if you catch what might be forever. On to the next one is what it is. Heartbreak's a bitch, ain't serious. Cause there's plenty of fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish. Fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish. Fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish. Fish, plenty of fish, plenty of fish.